Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Man, have I got a special lesson for you. Today we are checking out Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, one of the greatest guitar songs of all time. It's been played by millions of guitar players since its release in 1975. That is over 50 years ago. What an incredible landmark. In this lesson, we're going to be learning it in 5 different levels. We're going to start with a super basic beginner version. Then we're going to add more strums so it sounds more like the original recording. At level 3, we're going to add the subtle ghosted strums that make it sound just right. And then we're going to learn the lead solo too. And finally, we're going to be checking it out on a 12 string and talk about how that works. But I want you to make a little promise for me too. I want you to learn the rest of the song. It's not difficult, and it's a real popular song for campfires and parties, and I don't want you to be that guitar player that plays the intro but gets lost right when everyone else at the party wants to start singing along. So go grab your guitar and let's get going. Let's start off by looking at the chord shapes that we need. There are only actually 3 of them. They're all what I refer to as the stuck 3 and 4 grip. So our 3rd and 4th fingers are stuck in the 3rd fret on the thinnest 2 strings, and they stay there for the whole intro, okay? 3rd finger, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, little finger, 3rd fret on the thinnest string. The first chord that we need is an E minor 7. We do that by putting our 1st finger in the 2nd fret of the 5th string and 2nd finger down 2nd fret on the 4th string. I'd recommend checking that all of the notes are ringing out clearly. So you should have that open string, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, open G string, 3rd fret, 3rd fret. It's most likely that G string that you might find your 2nd finger is leaning over a little bit and muting that 3rd string. So make sure you keep on the tips of that 2nd finger. Could also be the 3rd finger leaning up a bit and muting that G string as well. You really want to make sure that you can hear that nice and clear. Now the next chord that we need is this. Technically it's called a G5 chord. I just call it a regular G chord. We're using the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the thicker string, and that finger naturally mutes the 5th string. It's likely that you've learned this chord before with the 1st finger down here in the 2nd fret of the 5th string, like this. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. It could well be that David Gilmour plays it with that 1st finger down. I don't really know. For me, that chord sounds bigger and more full without that note down there. For me, it just kind of sounds brighter than... Like that note just seems to kind of make things sound a little bit murky to me. You could choose. Either one of those is going to be fine. Either this one, technically a G5, or this one, a proper kind of a full G. So we start, we've got the E minor 7, and then it does the riff, back to G, back to E minor 7, and back to G, back to E minor 7, but then it goes to an A7 sus4, which is exactly the same as the E minor 7, but the fingers 1 and 2 move down a string, and we avoid playing the thicker string. So we have the open A string, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 3rd fret. Again, you'll often just see this written as A, but technically it's called A7 sus4. That's actually all of the chords that we need, so now let's get in and check out those lead link lines. We're going to start by playing the open 5th string with a down pick. Then we're going to use our 1st finger to hammer down the 2nd fret on the same string. Okay, so really just get a good whack. I think it's called a hammer on because you hammer it on. If you press it on, nothing will happen. If you just press it, you need to hammer it down. Then you play the open 5th string, and then you're going to use your 2nd finger here on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And that's picked, it's not another hammer on. Pick, hammer, pick, pick. all down picks at this stage. In level 1, all of the picks are down. Okay, it's really important that you get that. All down picks. Down pick, hammer on, down, down, and then we're going to strum the chord. Now, I would recommend that you put down your first and second finger, but we're probably only going to target the thinnest 4 strings. But if you accidentally hit that 5th string, if your first finger's in the correct spot, it's not going to make any difference at all. You're just targeting the thinner strings. So we have this. Now, absolutely crucial at this point is getting the rhythm correct. And this little lead line starts on beat 4 and it's using some 16th notes. Now, I'm going to give you the proper rhythmic count, but for most people, they're going to be familiar with how it sounds, and you want to just really focus on starting on the right beat, putting your strums on the right beat too. The rhythm really is where it's important, and learning this super basic version will set you up really well for learning the rest of the thing and making sure you stay in time. So with a count now, 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1. We're just going over that first part, of course. 4 E and 1, 2, 3, pick, hammer, pick, pick. You've got that big strum. Really, really important that you learn to get that rhythm right, because we're going to be using it all of the way through the song. 2, 3, 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1, 2, 3. Just practicing it in sections is really, really going to be much more helpful than trying to blast your way through the whole song and making loads of mistakes and not remembering it. Repeating it in sections will also help you memorize it, because you definitely want this in your memory, not having to look at a page of sheet music. The next section, we're going to play the open G string, then we're going to play the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then we're going to play the open D string, which is actually part of our G chord. Okay, so we're going to have this from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1. Now you can see here after the G, we've played the G, then we're doing exactly the same as we did at the very intro. Open A string, hammer on the 1st finger into the 2nd fret, play the open D string, and then we're at the E minor chord. So let's repeat those first 2 bars around a couple of times. It's actually what happens on the record. Those first 2 bars are repeated, so you can turn it into a really nice cycle and just work on that one section over and over again and make sure that you got the rhythm and the feel working really well. Again, 3, 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1. Just repeat that section, all down picks. 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1. I want to give you a couple of technique hints as well that might not immediately be obvious. Whenever I'm playing notes individually, what you can't see is that my little finger is anchored onto the body of the guitar and touching the thinner string. And what that does is it gives me a kind of reference point to be able to pick out, say, the G string or the D string or the A string or the E string without having to look at it and stare at the pick. Okay, staring at the pick is probably not what you want to be doing. You want to develop a feel for that, and using an anchor finger can really help. Most of the guitar players that I really admire do that kind of thing, and it means literally I've put my hand down, I can judge where the G is, or the D, or the A, or the E. You'll find that a real technical game changer if you've not done it before, if you're playing with a floating hand where it's really difficult to be able to target strings individually. Let's play it through one more time and then move on to the next section. So 2, 3, 4 E and 1, E minor, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So here's where it's changed. That time round we've gone the 2nd fret on the 4th string, then the open, 2nd fret on the 5th string, and then down to the A and strumming the A7 sus4. Then we've got like the E again, same climb down, 4th string, 2nd fret open, 2nd fret on the 5th string open to the A, then slightly different, just open A string, hammer down that 1st finger 2nd fret, then you play the A string again, and then we're going to the G. I'd recommend just starting with 4 down strums, and then 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and we're back at the beginning again. If there's a second guitar player, they might launch into playing that little lead part. Let's play that through one more time, nice and slow with the count so you can follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 1, 2 to the A and 4 and 1, 2, 3 back to E minor, 4 E and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 down to the G, so the variation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and you're through the whole tune. This might seem a little basic for some of you, and I'm sure you're jumping at the bit to add in all of the fancy stuff, but I would strongly recommend that you make sure that you can play this confidently before you move on. It really does make learning the whole thing a lot faster if you get the basics down first of all. Making sure that you can do the link, that you know the chords are ringing out clearly, and you're using all the down picks. Because as soon as we start adding in some other more complicated strumming patterns, if you haven't got that down feeling on the notes we specified, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. So that's level 2, and as you probably noticed, it's much more about the strumming hand. In fact, the fretting hand isn't doing anything new at all. Down, up, down. It's the key. The first thing to get together is this down, up, down pattern. Now, I can give you technical counts. In fact, I'm going to, because I think it's valuable. But most of the time, you're going to find just listening and remembering the rhythm is going to be a little easier than counting 16th notes. If you do want to learn about rhythm counting, I think it's a really valuable skill to develop, but your ears are always going to be the best tool you've got for learning music. 2, 3, 4 E and 1, 2 E and up, 3 E and 4 and 1 E and up, 2 and. So here on the G now you can see we've gone up, down, down. Okay, that's the rhythmic addition that we've got there in the G bar. 1 E and up, 2 and 3 and 4 E and. Let's just cycle that first 2-bar pattern so you can see. Really notice the way that my hand is kind of moving nice and consistently. It ends up having this pattern where it's going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and any notes that appear on the beat or on the and count The offbeat will take a down strum, and any notes that fall on the E or the A, or the 2nd or 4th, 16th note, they're going to take an upstroke. Now that's getting pretty technical. I want you to go too technical. I want you to listen, but just be aware that the hand is going to be moving consistently right the way through the whole thing. It's one of the most important techniques that you'll learn for keeping yourself in time and not feeling like you're getting your fingers or hand tied up in a knot. 2, 3, 4 E and 1. Down, up, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 hammer down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down. Same 2 bars. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. And 4 E and 1, 2 E and up, 3 E and 4 and 1 E and up, 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1, 2 E and up, 3 E and 4 and 1 E and up, 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1. Strongly suggest you spend some time again just on that little 2-bar section, because again it's repeated, so you're learning the first 4 bars. Really key thing, I can't say it often enough, is this keeping the hand moving, the feeling of that. That's why it's so important that you use the right pick directions for the single lines. People who don't listen, who use the wrong picks, you're going to find everything gets a little bit more muddled, especially when we start adding in those slightly more subtle ghost strums, I call them, the slightly lighter strums. It's all about keeping the strum and hand moving consistently. Let's move on to the next section where we go to the A7. So we're getting to the E, here, down, up. We've just got a gap there, so we're not playing on that down stroke, the downstroke that would normally be on beat 3. 4 E and 1, 2 E and up, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 E and 3, 4 E and again 1, 2 E and up, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. That's probably the hardest bit for most people. Down, 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 up, down. Making sure you hit that note A at the end. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 E and again 1, 2 E and up, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 E and 1, 2 E and up, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And then we're onto our little G section there. Now the G section also might feel a little bit awkward for some of you. That's okay. It is a little bit different. I'm teaching you like the record because I feel like it's a key kind of moment there. It's not just your standard strumming, which you could, of course, do if you're a real beginner and you're struggling. Simplify the strumming as much as you like. But the G section, for reals, is this. And then we're back at the top. So we've got 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1, 2 E and 3 and 4 E and we're off. So it's simply big strum on beat 1, then 2 and 3 and is playing the chord and then the bass note. 2 and 3 and beat 4, bass, chord, bass. Okay, getting used to playing bass. It's not specifically just the thicker string, it's kind of like the bass strings. 4 E and bass, chord, bass, down, up, down. So just that first bar. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E and. Second bar. 1, 2 E and 3. Down, down, up, down, down. And then we're using the little link line there from beat 3 and 4 E and 1. One more time on the G, from the beginning of the G. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1, 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1. Once more all of the way through. 2, 3, 4 E and 1. Down, up, down. 1, up, down, down. 1, 2 E and up, 3 E and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and E, down, up, down to the A, back to the E, down, up, down, 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 1 and 2 and 3, 4 E and G. Really strongly suggest that you spend a little time playing that through from beginning to the end, making sure you're staying in time. If you're struggling at this point to stay in time and the feeling of keeping your hand moving, the next level up is going to be difficult, because it relies on the automation of the hand moving to be able to add in these kind of ghosted strums, which makes it sound suddenly like much more like the record. This sounds pretty close. Like if I heard someone playing this, I'm like, I know that song. It's recognizable. It sounds really great. But the next level definitely adds some really cool, subtle stuff. So now we're at level 3, and as you probably heard, there's quite a lot more going on, but it's subtle stuff. Much more important that you get level 2 down. That's really what the listener hears when they hear the song. This other stuff is like just the little sprinkles. It kind of adds along to the groove. It does make a big difference to the overall performance. And if you happen to be playing, say, live with David Gilmour like Ben Worsley does, then you really need to nail it. And man, that guy nailed it. It sounded just like the record. I was so impressed with the level of detail that he took learning that too. So, massive hats off to you, Mr. Worsley. Incredible. If you're not playing with David Gilmour, it doesn't really matter that you go forensically detailed here. In fact, you might find that going into too much detail kind of throws you off a bit. So what I would recommend is what I do if I'm playing the song, is being free with these extra additional ghost strums as to where you put them. I'm still thinking about that level 2. That's really what I'm highlighting. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm just allowing my hand to keep moving and add in some extra strums to kind of flesh it out a little bit. But those extra ones I'm adding are very quiet. They're very, very subtle, right? They're not going to mean the difference between being able to play it and not. We're talking about like the final 5%, the little sprinkling on top. Some of them may be a little bit more audible. I would encourage you to listen to the original recording and really focus on it. Really get your listening focused in on that rhythm guitar, like exactly what's going on. You will notice those strums. But again, how much detail you want to go into and play it exactly like the record is down to you. I've done a little bit of work on it because I'm doing this lesson. I want to learn it properly and give you as best advice as I can. But even I find that really trying to go into too much detail takes away from my feel of the track. I'd much rather play it right and have a nice relaxed feeling when I'm playing it, because I feel like that comes across when you play, right? So beware of overthinking it is all I'm going to get to. Let's get to a close-up and I'll give you as much detail as I can. So right from the very first bar, you can see there's a lot more going on here. Really slowly. And on the G here, there's this little up strum before the bass note, before that climb. Okay, that's a really obvious one. Worth practicing. This first part. 1 and a 2 and up 3 E and a 4. Now, even for me now, trying to actually verbalize this and say, like, here's what you have to do. It's difficult to do that. I don't do that when I'm playing it live. I'm just allowing my hand to move naturally and keep it moving. And I'd really encourage you to do that, okay? I'm going to have another crack at doing this like as close as I can to the record and try and describe it. Just nice and slow. 2, 3, 4 E and 1 and a 2 E and up 3 E and a 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and this section again. 1. Just try and relax it now, and I'm just going to try and keep my hand making kind of bigger movements so you can get the idea. Yeah, no, this isn't right? I'm just trying to show you the hand moving continuously so you see the idea. Obviously it's a bit hard to keep it moving so big when I'm doing the riff. In the previous levels, bars 1 and 2 were the same as 3 and 4, and 5 and 6 were the same as 7, 8, more or less, except for the very end. Now, when we start to get into this, there is a little bit more subtle movement in the playing. It's not like it was computerized or copied and pasted in Pro Tools when they recorded it. It's human. It's David Gilmour playing it. So when you get into that, again, it kind of humanizes it if these subtle things are a little different every time. So you don't, again, I wouldn't go really into painstaking detail here unless you happen to be playing in a Pink Floyd cover band, or you're re-recording it, or you're playing with David Gilmour, or there's some situation like that where you really might want to dig into the detail. But the second time through on that E minor, instead of having the first time it goes 1, second time it goes, just does there, down, down, up. It's so nice. On the E minor going into the A7, there's some really nice ghosty ones which are a little bit tricky as well. It's just before there's a down, up, which can make it tricky to get right onto that riff there. Okay? Down, up, down, up, down, up. It's that down, up there on beat 3. 1 and a 2 and up, 3 and 4, and here 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. That one's actually a pretty obvious one on the A7 sus4 as a little up, down, up. I really can't emphasize enough the importance of keeping your hand moving and not getting overwhelmed by the detail. keeping the hand moving will keep you in time. It'll feel good. It'll give you a natural good feeling when you play it. Whereas over-examining it and really being focused on the math part will make it feel kind of stiff and clunky, and you'll lose a lot of the musicality, which is one of the key things about this. I'd be very surprised if David Gilmour would play it the same way again. Exactly. I mean, Ben did it exactly. That was incredible. But that's, you know, it doesn't sound like a calculated thing. I'm pretty sure David Gilmour didn't sit down and calculate what ghost notes were going to be played. Like, that's not how it works. It's about feeling it. And again, for me, level 3 is playing level 2, but with a little bit more of a relaxed feel and allowing you to hit some of those ghosted strums and doing it in a kind of organic and natural way so that it feels good for you. So we're at level 4. It's time to learn that intro solo. I just gave it to you there bare bones so you can see exactly what's going on. There are a few tricky moments here. We've got some string bending on the acoustic guitar, which can be a little bit rough on the fingers. I'm going to show you some get-arounds for those as well. The first phrase. That's just beautiful. Second finger, second fret of the third string, and it slides from the second fret to the fourth fret. Then we have first finger, third fret on the second string. Third finger, fifth fret on the second string. Second finger, fourth fret on the third string. And back to the first finger, third fret on the second string. Then we do this little flick off, which is third finger on the fourth fret, first finger on the second fret, flicking off to the open third string. Then we play the fourth string open. Second finger, probably you could use another finger if you want, but anyway, second finger, second fret on the fifth string. And then we're going to play the open fourth string twice. Now, I'm going to give you some of the technical count here. It can be useful, but for most people, most of the time, actually just listening to what it sounds like and copying it is going to be a lot easier than trying to do a technical count. 1 E and a 2, 3 E and 4 and E a 1, 2 E and a 3, 4. Okay, 1 and a 2. 3 E and 4 and E a 1, 2 and a 3, 4. Okay, the most important thing really here is landing on that B note. 2, 3, 4, and landing that open D string right on the beat. It's a 16th note triplet, technically, but the key thing here is starting on the and after 4. So 1 E and a 2, 3 E and 4 and 1. If you just think 4 and 1, 2 E and a 3, 4. One more time. 1 and a 2, 3 E and 4 and 1. 2 and a 3, 4. Next section, super fun little dyad thing, 2 notes played at the same time with some really cool slides. And this ending, this is not the way most people play it, but I'm fairly sure that's what's going on the record. So I tend to use my third finger. I don't know if David uses like different fingers. It's the 5th fret, thinnest 2 strings to the 3rd fret, and you slide in and back. I like this. It's maybe slightly sloppy. the record sounds maybe a little tighter, so I'm suspecting he's using individual fingers. Maybe David could have a watch of the video one day and let me know. But anyway, 5th fret, or sliding up to the 5th fret, back to the 3rd fret. Now you're sliding from here, from the 2nd and 3rd fret, using fingers 1 and 3, like you're playing a D chord, and sliding it up 2 frets to the 5th and 4th fret, 5th and 4th frets, I was right, sliding it back down to that kind of like a D position. Then we're playing the open G and B strings. Again, that slide up to the 5th, back to the 3 and the 2, open, 3rd string. Now we've got this 5th fret, 4th fret, open. Now for the longest time I just played the open G and the B string because it's those notes. But you can very clearly hear on beat 4 a slide down. You hear that. So that means that it's not the open strings. That's the only clue that that's not how it's played. So two, three. You hear that little gliss. It's so clear on the record. And then you go, right, hang on. How's he doing the gliss if they're open strings? It doesn't work. So there must be an alternative. It's a bit like playing a detective when you're transcribing songs like this and trying to do it accurately. So that's the second phrase. The next phrase. So it starts similar. 2, 4, 3, 4, 5. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E. So here we're doing a ghost bend. The 5th fret, we bend it up to the note F sharp. That was a bit sharp. Bend it, play it, release it. 3rd fret, 4th fret on the G string, on the 3rd string, and back to the note D. And then you skip to the note A, 2nd fret on the G string. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Definitely one to practice. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and A 4 E and 1. The little reverse bend there is 32nd notes, which is when you divide 16th notes in half. So if you needed to count it, you would be starting the little pre-bend on the A count of beat 2. Which again, it's massively overcomplicating it. I would recommend listening to it and figure it out. Put it in your musical imagination where it feels. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and 1. Now this next phrase is pretty tricky. Because really, that note is being bent from the B to a C sharp. If I bend regularly, I just can't bend. I can just about get there, but it's really, really forced. And it doesn't sound forced on the record. It sounds a little bit easier than that. I found that pulling down with the bend helps me hit the pitch. I was thinking for a little while maybe it was on different strings. If I play it up here, it feels a little bit easier to get the bend, but I don't suspect that was what happened on the record. Perhaps he's using thinner strings than me, or just David Gilmour's a better guitar player. Whee, there's a surprise. So I suspect he probably just did do the bend. If you're really struggling, remember you can always do a slide. Okay, that's the way I play it more often than not. Instead of trying to bend, you slide from the 4th to the 6th, 3, 5, then the slide again, and back. The next phrase, just ever so slightly different. Bend, release, 3, 5, A. And then 4th fret, tone bend, release, back to that A root note. All of the way through now, nice and slowly. 3, 4, 1 and a 2, 3 E and 4 and 1, 2 E and a 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And my guitar's gone quite out of tune because of all of that string bending. So now we are at level 5, which is playing that intro on a 12-string guitar. Now, if you're not familiar with a 12-string guitar, it is in fact the same as a 6-string guitar, but where there is usually 1 string, there are 2. We say that there are 6 courses of 2 strings, which makes it a little bit more challenging to play, but generally the finger shapes and stuff are exactly the same, just where your finger used to press 1 string, now it has to press 2 strings. On the thinnest few strings, or the thinnest 2 strings, thinnest 2 courses, they're actually the same thickness of string, but all of the other ones are a low note and a high note together. So the thinnest course, they're both tuned exactly the same note. Where a 12-string sounds cool is because even though I've tried to tune them exactly the same, having spent half an hour to try to tune this little beast, they're invariably not exactly the same. So you get this kind of chorusing effect. On the second pair, again, they're exactly the same. The third pair, we get the higher octave and a lower octave. So that's really the sound that we're expecting on a 12-string, is this octave sound. Same with the 4th course, high note and a low note. High note again, super high. Same with the thicker string. So that's what's going on with the 12th string. Some of you will have noticed, hang on, you got a capo on there at the 2nd fret. What's going on there? Well, usually for 12th string, I don't think I'm alone in doing this, it plays nicer if it's tuned down a tone. So instead of playing it in standard tuning, I tune all of the strings down 1 tone. So if I want to play it like in concert pitch, so it's normally playing like a normal guitar, I use a capo at the 2nd fret. I have no idea if that's what was done on the original recording or not. Might have been a 12-string tuned up to regular tuning, or it might have been like this tuned down and David's using a capo there at the 2nd fret. I don't know. It is a very common thing to do. It makes the strings feel a little bit looser and nicer under the fingers to do that. So if you've got a 12 string and you haven't tried that, I would definitely recommend it. Now, when it comes to actually playing this intro, if you want to have a go on a 12 string, it's just really going to be a little bit of extra practice to get used to being able to target 2 strings at once with every pick stroke. Now, we've got the advantage here that nearly all of the riffs are played with a down pick. So that's kind of nice because you can push through just that little bit more in order to get the 2 notes with each pick. Strumming stays exactly the same. I do feel like I need to be a little bit more aware of the dynamics here, because the ghost strums on a 12-string seem to poke out a little bit more. They sound a little louder, so I'm having to be extra conscious of my dynamics, like where I'm playing hard and where I'm playing soft. It is definitely more challenging. I would suggest that most people, most of the time over the course of history of this song, have played it on a 6-string guitar, not a 12-string guitar. But if you ever get a chance to get your hands on a 12-string guitar, I would definitely recommend you have a go, because it's lots of fun. It sounds really cool. So yeah, I definitely give that a go. But I want you to make sure that you stick around, because now we're going to learn the rest of the song. Please, as I said in the intro there, don't be that person that plays the intro to the song for your friends, and just as they want to start singing and they go, so you think you can, and you've stopped because you can't remember the chords. That's like a really bad move. You want to make sure that you can remember the chord progression and play it all of the way through, so everyone can have a real good sing-along after they've been super impressed by you playing the intro so accurately. C, so you think you can D with an F sharp bass, heaven from A minor, blue skies from G. Can you tell a green D from a cold steel C? A smile from A minor, do you think you can G? Did they get you to see your heroes for D? Hot ashes for A minor, hot air for a cool G. Cold comfort for D. Did you exceed walk on part in A minor for lead role in a G? See how I wish you were D. We're just A minor souls swimming in a fishbowl, G year after year. D running over the same old ground. C, have we found the same old A minor? Wish you were G. Okay, now it's time to learn how to play the rest of the song, because you promised me. And I promised it was going to be simple, and it is. There's actually just one chord progression that you need to remember. It's a little bit unusual, but not difficult to remember. It goes C, D, A minor, G, then D, C, A minor, G. So it's always A minor, G, but the first time it goes C to D, the second time around it goes D to C. And it follows that pattern all through the verses and the chorus too. Okay, so C, D, A minor, G, D, C, A minor, G. Verse 2, C, D, A minor, G, D, C, A minor, G. Okay, got that? It's well easy if you actually see it written down. Talking it out loud seems a little bit weird. So let's talk about the rhythm as well, because the rhythm really here, there's lots of different approaches. And again, if you want to play it just like the record, it fluctuates through the record. So it's not like there's one strumming pattern. Listening to it a lot, you'll be able to pick up on some of the nuances if you want. But it's probably a good idea to have a kind of a bass pattern to start off with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, down, up. That would be the pattern I'd recommend you start off with. Down, down, up. But see how much my hand is moving, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Now what I don't want you to do is to do this. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Because you won't lock into a proper groove. You need to keep your hand moving consistently. Down, down, up, down, down, up. But you're actually going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. It really works so much better if you keep that hand moving. C to D with an F sharp bass. I'm going to talk you through the chords a bit more in a second. The rhythm is a good idea to get down first. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, Now, I was trying to stay fairly true to the pattern, but you will have heard already I'm adding a few extra strums in, and that is normal. In fact, that's kind of what you're going for. Usually when you've got a strumming pattern, it's not like a really, really strict strumming pattern. There are occasions where it is, but most times you're sticking to a general strumming pattern and allowing your hand to brush on some extra strums in between. Again, if you're keeping your hand moving nice and consistently, you're not going to hit anything that's out of time, because all of the notes will be in time. So you're just allowing yourself to be a little bit loose with it. Maybe start strictly so that you've got a solid foundation, but as soon as you can, just try and relax into it and allow yourself to play some extra strums. Okay, there are lots of other different strumming patterns that you might like to apply and experiment with, but this would be my recommendation as a starting point. Let's go through those chords again now though. So we've got a C first of all, but I nearly always play this as C with a G bass. You'll see there's a regular C, but I move third finger over onto the thicker string and I pop little finger down underneath. So technically it's a C with a G bass, but let's call it C. The next chord, again, obviously on the record I hear an F sharp there in the bass note. So just a regular D, wrap thumb over to play that F sharp bass note. If you struggle to do that, you could totally just play a regular D. I did for years and years and years, and many times I've played this at parties and had sing-alongs and never thought, oh, no one stopped halfway through and went, oh, can you add that F sharp on the bass, please? It's putting me off not having it there, right? It's a subtle thing. I think it does sound cool, but you don't have to have it, right? A minor, hopefully most of you are familiar with that. And then just regular G again. I don't use the first finger. You can put it down if you want, but I don't add it in a sound. Anyway, that's all of the chords. So we're just experimenting with the order now. So let me just play that through one more time and talk us through the order again. So 3, 4, we have C, 2, 3, 4, D with an F sharp bass, to A minor, to a G, then back to a D, with an F sharp bass again, to a C, to an A minor, and then to a G. Verse 2, did they get you to see your heroes for D, hard ashes for A minor, hot air for a cool G, cold comfort for D. With an F sharp bass again. Did you exchange? Again, it's C with a G bass. Part in the A minor for a lead roll in the K. Now originally, of course, it's going back there at that point to the intro, and it plays through that whole intro section and then goes into the chorus. Very unusual arrangement to have a verse and then an instrumental section going into a chorus. And this is a huge hit, one of the most memorable and popular songs of all time. You know, it's just weird that the structure works so well this way, but it does. Amazing. Into the chorus. So C, how I wish you were D. Just A minor, swimming in a fishbowl, to G, year after year, to D, running over the same old ground. See, what have we found? The same old A minor, wish you were here. And then we're into the solo section. Now, I'm not going to do a lesson on the solo. The solo is really beautiful. It's guitar and voice doubling it at the same time. It's a bit of a mission. It's an awkward one to teach it. It's quite sparse. I would suggest if you're at the level where you could actually play it, you should be trying to work it out on your own, because it isn't a difficult one to work out. G major scale, G major pentatonic. Relatively simple. I mean, it's incredible, but it's the kind of thing where I think if you're at the level of playing it, you should be working it out on your own. Good for your ears as well. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson. I would love to see you perform it. And we have a student performances area on every song lesson on the website, where you can add a link to a YouTube video of you playing it. And the team and I and the amazing Justin Guitar community can go check it out and give you some feedback. If you happen to be watching in late November 2025, actually the Pink Floyd team requested that I remake this lesson. How cool is that? And they've offered some incredible prizes, which we're going to give away to one lucky student who adds their performance to the page. The draw will be made on December 12, 2025, exactly 50 years after the release of the album. Thank you so much, Pink Floyd. Making this video is a real honor. There are many more Pink Floyd songs over on the website. You might like to check that out as well. And if you're after some awesome guitar karaoke style backing tracks, then do check out my Lessons and Songs app available for Apple and Android. I appreciate your support. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.